And good morning, everybody. Yes, tea and conversation. Tea and conversation live this morning. I am feeling really, really good in my self spirit this morning. Um, Not just because I have my brother Cal Jackson on. It's because it is
Good
hump
morning.
day. Yes, it is hump day, and I'm excited. How you doing, brother Cal?
I'm amazing. Good morning, Candy. It's another wonderful Wednesday. Happy to be here. We always have such a good talk before the show. Sometimes it catches me off guard when we say hello again. Oh, but good
I know,
morning.
right?
Happy to be here.
Yes, happy to be here. I have been following all of the things that are going on across the country. I don't want to get too deep into that, but I have been following all of the things that are going on across the country, and I just hope that everyone stays safe and
I'm glad you mentioned
continue
that. I
to,
think that's important to say
yeah.
for
And I
all
do believe
involved, everyone. Yeah.
yes. People move in the direction that they think is best for them, best for their community, best for their families, whatever that may be. I definitely understand the importance of all of the things that are going on. I have actually been a part of a number of gatherings, protests throughout the state of Florida and in Washington. So I just hope that everyone stays safe. I know that there's a lot going on in real estate, definitely in Florida, in the city of Tampa. People are still buying. People are still doing the
Yeah.
doggone thing. And yeah. What are you hearing out there, Kyle? At the we're June now. We're in June, and we
Mhm.
still have people coming. A lot of people still come to the Tampa Bay area during the summertime, looking for homes, wanting to move during the summer because children are not in school. It makes the transition a little bit easier. So I want to just jump right on in here, and I just want to talk about the Florida market trends and start off with buyer's market.
Yeah. It is absolutely a buyer's market here in the Tampa Bay area and pretty much throughout Florida. You know, uh, Florida is still a wonderful place to be. Who doesn't want to be in the sun and the sand, enjoying, Disneyland, no Disney World, and all of the good stuff that we have here, right? But I will
Right.
tell you that the market has what they call softened. So the way that's a fancy real estate term for it really the values have come down. The cost, there was this frenzy back during the pandemic where the prices were going through the roof and people were paying over the list price and all of that. That's behind us. That doesn't
Mhm.
exist anymore. So if you're a person who is, excuse me, actively out in the marketplace and thinking about, it's, a time to buy, don't think it's going to be like it was in the 2022, I mean, the 2020, 2022 era. It's not going to be like that. You're not going to get way above list price. In fact, if you're the seller, you're probably going to need to lower the price of your home. There's a lot of inventory still on the market, a lot of new construction still available that you may be in competition with if you're trying to sell your own property. And so for the buyers, it's a fantastic time. Now, if you have the qualifications, now's the time to do it. However, be sure you have the qualifications. It's very important. I know a lot of people have a desire to purchase a home, but they're not going through the necessary steps to go ahead
Mhm.
and even ensure, am I able? Just having good credit is only a piece of it. Just having some cash saved to the side, that's a piece of it.
Mhm.
Having your just making sure all of your ducks are in a row. You need to speak to a lender, a loan officer with either your bank or credit union, or if you need to, you can speak with myself as a realtor, who I can recommend you to a loan officer who's a professional that can assist you. But you got to find out, do you have your stuff together enough that you are in a position to buy a house? I think a lot of people will find that they are. So, I tell people all the time, don't listen to the naysayers, because if you look at the media, if you look at the news, I will tell you, Candy, there's a lot of people saying people are fleeing Florida, not many people coming into Florida. The insurance rates are going up because of what happened last year with the hurricanes, and people are afraid of flood insurance and things like that. All of these are having an effect. And of course, the big effect is interest rates, right? People feel like interest rates have made it's with the high price and a high interest rate, it really isn't affordable for a lot of people. But the dream still exists. The dream of home ownership still persists. And so a lot of young people, particularly, I'm finding, are speaking out. I hear them on social media a lot talking about we need to find a way to make this more affordable. Not that they want necessarily the traditional quote unquote affordable housing, right? They're willing to pay, but the difference in a payment on a $400,000 house between 7% and 3% is a pretty significant number every single month, and they're having a hard time keeping up with it because salaries aren't keeping up with it. People aren't getting paid the sort of wages that would allow them, especially here in our county, in Hillsborough County or Pinellas County, people aren't making the sorts of money that would allow them to sustain that sort of thing. So I think this is a good correction that's happening, to be honest with you, over this summer. Prices are dropping, right? Interest rates are going to stay up. Interest rates are going to pretty much stay high. Or let's not say high, where they've been. I don't want to say high. They are going to stay steady at around 6-7%. You may be able to find it for less, 5 or 4 if you go to a builder, right? So there's a lot going on, but I will tell you, it is a good time to buy. If you are a buyer, it's a good time to buy. If you are a seller, if you're looking for top dollar, now's not your time to sell. If you are needing to sell, you need to start early because the houses are sitting on the market for well above 30, sometimes 60, sometimes 90 days, right? So it can take you 3 months just to even get somebody in there to buy the house. So you want to start as early as you possibly can, especially if you have plans that you're going somewhere else.
Right. Definitely if you have plans that you're going somewhere else. I like that. And at the top, you said it's not a buyer, not necessarily buyer's market. What did you call it?
It is a buyer's market. It's just, I just said the market has softened, right? So people who are selling, if you're selling your house, you're not going to get, this super inflated price. You're going to probably get exactly whatever you see in your neighbor. If neighbors have been selling for $350, you're probably at $350. Don't think you're going, I put in that's not what's happening in the market at this time. So if you don't have to sell, who cares? Sit still, right? And I always like to mention this kind of conversation really only applies to people who are financing, right? If you're not financing, some people come here and buy cash, especially people moving here from larger metropolitan cities, New York, California, Chicago, Texas. They come with enough cash, they can buy it outright. They don't have to worry about what the interest rates are,
Right. What is like is there like an average price for homes right now? Because I could remember like somewhat of the average price back in the day, whatever back in the day means, probably 20 years ago. 10 years ago, I could remember going out Riverview and saw so many signs, homes starting at 150, homes starting at 220. I mean, it was just massive.
The good old days. That was the good old days, Candy. The median home prices in our area, in the Tampa Bay area, are 400,000. 400 is middle of the road. Okay, and so now, can you find some for less? Yes. Can you find some for more? Yes. Are there the median? I will tell you, 400,000 will get you a nice home, right? 3 or 4 bedroom home. You can be in the 300s and still get a 300, a nice 3 bedroom home. Once you start getting into the budget of the twos or the ones, you are absolutely looking at a fixer upper, right? You are
Mm-hmm.
going to be in there, or maybe even a tear down. Now, that's not to
Wow.
say there aren't other teardowns, because if you go above this, for the people looking above 400,000, this is also location, right? Like location matters. So if we're talking about uh, here in my neck of the wood, I'm over here in Riverview. If you're in the Riverview area, 400,000, great. 400,000 in Miami, not so much. That could be, or even closer to home. You take 400,000, it'll be tough to get something in certain parts of St. Petersburg, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
over in Snell Island, they have properties over there. People are buying for $1 million to tear it down. To tear it
A
down
million
after
dollars
spending
to tear it down.
$1 million for a
Wow.
tear down to build they're building these grand homes now on Snell Island over there. So it's
Mm-hmm.
lovely, it's beautiful, but you got to have some real capital, So um, it's an interesting time. I think that there are a lot of opportunities available. If you're Especially for first time home
Mm-hmm.
buyers, if you're one of the hometowns heroes kinds of people, right? Like EMS, EMT, I think EMT, am I saying that right?
Yes.
EMS, or is it EMT? I'm not sure. But
Um,
police, fire,
EMS, right.
ambulance,
Mm-hmm.
EMS. Okay. The EMT works for the EMS, I think is what it is. But I could be wrong
Mm-hmm.
there. So, but all of those folks, teachers, principals, things like that, there are tons of programs available for folks to get into a home. Let us not forget, programs still exist. Now, I do know you mentioned at the top of the show that there are things happening in the marketplace that are scaring people outside of interest rates and affordability
Yeah.
and things like that. Uh, One of the big topics that has been kind of in the media or people have been discussing are, with all that's going on at the federal level of our government, what's going to happen with Section 8? Because Section 8 is a major force in the investor market. If you are an investor, if you're a person who does rental properties to people who have Section 8, you have something to be paying attention to in a major way. I'm not sure where that's going to go, but it is a hot topic, and so we shall see. I would definitely encourage all of my investor friends, landlord friends, to pay attention to what's happening with that, and if there are going to be changes with that. So we shall see what's going to happen, and yeah, I think the Florida market right now, Candy, it's it's not just Florida, but here we are. It's still a good place to be, and like you said, people are still buying and selling homes every day. So don't feel like, oh, I'm just going to sit on the sideline. I don't know what's going to happen. People are still going to do business. People are still actively buying and selling. There's still work to be done. But I would love to see more folks making sure that they have all of their ducks in a row. They have their funding together. They've gotten a pre-approval letter. They've gotten it, or some. They're coming in with cash. They have their credit together. Their dollars together. They're ready to go, and they have taken advantage of. City of Tampa has programs. The county has programs. All kinds of programs that are ensuring that there are funds available for people who would like to purchase a home, especially the young people.
Right, right, and right. Let's go right into this one here, Cal. All of the different concerns about condo boards. I think it's so important. I was talking to one of my girlfriends the other night, and they were having an issue in their neighborhood. It's actually HOA issues, but it really just leads me into all of the concerns about condo boards.
Let's talk about both, because those issues come up frequently. um,
Yeah.
so people are getting to a place in Florida where, and I'm just speaking from what I hear. I'm sure that there's two sides to every coin. I'm going to tell you what the feedback I'm getting. People are really growing to hate their HOAs and their condo boards. They're getting angrier and angrier, more and more frustrated. A lot of times they feel like the people who are in positions of leadership within those boards are not good people. They're not paying attention to what the other homeowners want. They're being dictators over there. And a lot of people feel very frustrated. I've had multiple people tell me they are looking for places with no HOA. I don't want an HOA. I don't want to live under their rules, things like that. Of course, you also know that HOAs have lots of good reasons, right? You don't want your neighbor to paint their house pink with purple polka dots. Maybe that to them is the most beautiful thing in the world. To you, it devalues your property, right? We don't want these sorts of fights. We want people to keep up their properties. We want them to, cut the grass and paint the house and, fix the roof. Do things that you would think are common sense are not always common. And sometimes HOAs do have to enforce the rules. But I hate to tie this in, but sometimes, as we saw recently in the news, enforcement goes too far. You don't have to send the military grade enforcement when you have lower levels of enforcement that you can utilize and not alienate your neighbors. So, it's a sad thing because the condo boards, the HOA boards, they're going to win. A lot of people threaten, I'm going to sue them. They can't tell me where to put my boat. They can't tell me where to put my RV. They can't tell me. They can't tell me. They can tell you. They will tell you. And then a lot of people don't realize that HOAs and condo boards also have the ability to foreclose and to sue you and to do other things. And often they win. Almost always they win. They almost always win. Okay. And always. So we need some form of an adjustment, right? Like, I think they're important to have, but the absolute firm iron rule fist that they have should not be. I think there should be, a little diminishment. We need to diminish their power a little bit here in the state. And people are very concerned about these assessments. There's all of these assessments going to the condos that are requiring them to have certain amount of money in reserve, have certain amount of repair done to these buildings. All behind, that building collapsed in the Miami-Dade area, I believe it was, or South Florida, they had a collapse. And it sparked a lot of investigation that a lot of people were not keeping up with their reserves to fix the building. They weren't keeping up on maintenance, and people, they'll do what's called deferred maintenance. They'll put it off, keep putting it off. Well, you eventually put it off so much that now the building's about to fall down, or, we have real safety concerns. And you will see that in lots of places, they just began cracking down on it. And so now it impacts the owners. But let me tell you something to beware of out here too, just because this kind of irked my nerves. I didn't like that I saw this. So I helped a friend of mine he's a realtor in the Miami area. He had a customer who wanted to buy on a golf course. Fantastic. The customer, the list, he finds a listing, and the listing says they're selling this 1-bed, 1-bath unit for only $5,000.
Oh my.
I'm like, what? How did I have to have this? It's only $5,000, right? So that is a bait and switch tactic. It's super low. They see the 1-bedroom, they think, holy cow, maybe they're just trying to get rid of it, fire sale. Let me see what's going on. They go see the property. The property is in perfectly good condition. Great. I want to make an offer for the $5,000. Oh, they didn't tell you that there is $185,000 required membership fee to the country club, and an additional like $50,000 for HOA, and an additional. They throw all of this stuff in on the back end after they give you this bait and switch. Hey, it's only $5,000. Come on in,
Wow.
So I would caution you, and Zillow has gotten a lot better at that. Lots of places have gotten better, but I would caution anyone out there, if it looks too good to be true, it probably is. That goes on whether you are renting, buying, investing. Contact me, contact a realtor, and make sure
Yeah,
that make sure that you have all of the right information, so that you don't get hurt.
right, right, and right. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine. You know what? It's probably more of that going on than we know.
Oh, there's a huge amount of fraud, unfortunately, and we have to get away from that as a nation. Period. It just seems like so many folks have gotten to a place where it's just a money grab, not
Right,
about helping each other. You got to help each other. You just do
right,
this money grab thing, or constantly just out for yourself. Doesn't work.
right,
Doesn't
right,
work.
right. How about insurance market issues? I do know that actually my insurance went up. I just got a notification, I think it was last month, insurance going up again. So let's dive right into that, because that's a huge
It
concern in the
is.
state of Florida as well. Insurance market issues.
I have the same concern as every other homeowner. Why does my insurance keep going up? And nothing has changed. You're not giving me more services. You're not giving me any better coverage. You're not giving me anything more than what I've already had. I keep getting punished for you keep playing fraudulent claims. You say, oh, there's all these fraud claims. Why aren't you doing a better job with mitigating fraud then? Why am I having to pay more and more and more? In addition to that, I think that one of the big questions is also, why our elected officials keep giving them the power to raise the price for everyone? It's never, I don't care if they have a banner year. It's never, I can't remember once where it was, we made so much money and we had so few claims that we're giving money back to our customers. We're lowering the price this year. We're helping the people in a different way. We're going to see a cut in prices. Never. And we lose a bunch of here in Florida. They come in, they do a grab and they leave, right? Like we've seen so many insurance companies come and go over the years. They come, they go, they come, they go. And the ones that they stick around or they stay for a while, when the new ones come in, it's never any, hey, we're new on the block. Here's the best new incentives. Here's the best. No, it's just expensive, And so I think that a lot of homeowners have grown very frustrated and some have just been priced out. And it's not going to stop. There are talks that even in areas, because of what we experienced with the previous two hurricanes last year, and some areas that were normally what would be considered outside of the flood zone or not in a flood zone, were impacted by water. A lot of people have been saying that, they're going to start requiring flood insurance throughout the whole state, no matter what zone you're in. I don't know when that is coming into effect, but I do know that, I would like if our elected officials and our leadership who make these decisions in regards to insurance and things like that, and HOAs and taxes and rules, you got to get in touch with real people, regular people in real communities again, and find out
Mm-hmm.
how impactful raising these rates really are. It really hurts people really badly, right? Like, and people talk like, oh, it's so minuscule. Oh, we've only raised it. You'll only be paying $50 more. Like 50. There are some people who can't squeeze $1 more out of what they have available, right? A 50, an additional 100. And then forget about, previously we talked about, Candy, we talked about how some of these very greedy landlords were doing things like not a $100 increase in your rent, a $600 increase, a full, like,
$600. $100 increase.
Who has a free, just available extra 600 sitting around? I don't know those people. I don't know those people. And I know good working class people, right? And I'm just going to tell you, I heard a young man that I follow on social media say this. He said the working class are under attack. If you consider yourself working class, I don't care what that level is, because there's levels in the working class, right? There's,
Yes.
but you're still working class. You're not so rich that you're just going to hang out on your yacht today, right? You're not so rich that you just don't ever have to lift a hand. You have servants and not those folks. I'm not mad at those folks. I'm just saying you're not one of them. You actually have to you may be a doctor, but you got to go put your scrubs on. You may be an engineer, but you still got to show up with your, whatever your tools are to handle business. You may be an architect, or I don't care what your profession is. You may be the garbage man. Whatever it is, you're working class. And it feels like a lot of what's going on, the working class is getting impacted very deeply, right? And so we got to make sure that working class folks are doing more to ensure that we are treating each other fairly, we're doing good business with each other, but we also have to kind of be making some noise about what insurance companies are doing, what these landlords are doing, right? I know everybody likes green. I do too. But I think we live a better life, a happier existence, we have a better country if we are working together and ensuring that, at some levels, everybody's able to do fairly well. This whole survival of the fittest, who cares if you don't make it? Who cares if you don't get your needs met? Behavior has to stop. So that's my 2 cent, Candy. That's my 2 cent. So.
Well, Kyle, I really like your 2 cents because I know you know what you're talking about.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, because this insurance thing is something, and you're absolutely right. People do not have, and some people don't have an extra $20 to go on to mortgage, $50, because I think mine may be right around that $45, $50 more to mine, but steadily going up because of whatever reasons that they're saying. And it
always goes up, never comes down. It's just not fair, right? Like at some point, if I've never had a claim, shouldn't I come down? I've had, we have to start asking some real common sense questions and hopefully getting some better common sense answers. Just accepting it as, I guess that's just the way it is. It's just not right anymore. We've got to fix that, So I think insurance is a big problem here in the state of Florida. I think this is one of the issues that is high up on the political table too. And, folks are talking about it, but I'm often confused as to how there's such a wide gap between what some people say and other people say, That's why I brought up the whole working class thing. It really is about, I don't care what your party, I don't care what your beliefs, it affects all of us, right? It costs all of us. So it should, they got to do it a little bit better of a job than to keep raising rates and raising rates and raising rates.
Right.
Good morning, Bruce Wayne. Thank you for tuning in. I see Bruce has a question. What's this say here?
That's a really good question. Can you discuss the impact of keeping up escrow and insurance to help stabilize your mortgage payment? That's a good.
So that is a great question. Thank you, Bruce. Mm-hmm. So that is an excellent question because 99.9% of the time, if you have a mortgage, your mortgage company is going to require what we call PITI or PITI. Principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? So when Mr. Wayne is referring to your escrow and insurance, usually what your mortgage company will do is require that you, when you're closed, they're going to put a certain amount of money into escrow for you for the cost of for you to cover the cost of paying your insurance at the end of the year, right? You're going to have to pay your taxes and your insurance. And so, I'm sorry, I said your insurance at the end of the year. I meant your taxes at the end of the year. You'll pay your property taxes, and they're going to want to make sure that your insurance is paid for, right? Your homeowner's insurance, because we don't want your house to burn down and then you're without and somebody has to get paid. It's probably going to be the mortgage company. These sorts of things, right? And you may even have an additional insurance if you are under FHA that protects your lender in case of issues. So so I tell people, one, your lender is not going to let you not have these, right? They're going to require that of you. So your insurance is definitely going to get paid. Your taxes are definitely going to get paid. And they're usually going to have you pay it all in your monthly payment at one time, right? Your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. Every single month, that's what you're paying out. So a portion of that money, if you're paying, let's just hypothetical number, you're paying $2,000 a month, a portion of that number is going towards your principal. A portion is going towards the interest that pays the bank. A portion is going towards your taxes that pay for the state for your property tax. And then a portion will go towards your insurance. And so you definitely, and just to answer one last thing, Bruce, you definitely want to keep up with it, because if it ever seems like it's going to fall short, or if they feel like they've underestimated it, you'll get a letter saying, hey, we've increased this. Or you'll say, hey, why did my payments go up? And they'll say, we increased this because it looks like you're not going to have enough for your taxes. Now, of course, if you're over, they'll refund you. But if they ever feel like, and here's why they do it, don't think they're doing you no favors. It's not like they, let's help them make sure they keep up with their taxes and insurance. And no, they're protecting their investment. So what they're saying is, our investment is we have a lien on your house. You have a mortgage, you're paying us, and we hold this mortgage to say that if you stop paying us, we're going to collect. And one of the ways we're going to collect is we're going to foreclose and take your house, right? And we'll sell that off to get our money back. Okay. But the only thing that comes before your first mortgage holder is the government, taxes, right? And so if you don't pay your taxes and the government forecloses against you, right, to get their payment and the mortgage company is at a loss. The mortgage company falls in lien placement behind your taxes. So they are not doing you a favor by saying, hey, you have to pay your principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. They're saying, no, we need to protect our asset, and we need to make sure that they don't lose it to the government and mess up our money. So we're going to collect your principal, interest, which is their portion. But the taxes and insurance, we need to make sure we protect our investment. So just so you know how that all works.
Yes, that was an excellent question. Thank you so much, Bruce. That's Bruce Wayne. Yes, our good friend. He's on with us quite often. I really appreciate it whenever he taps in with us.
Definitely, I do too. And, I will say something. I happen to know Mr. Wayne, and I know that if any of the people who are watching the show now or may rewatch the show, and they are in need of Medicaid. I think it's Medicare. What is it? Which one is it when you're 65 that you get? Is it Medicare or Medicaid?
Medicare, right around the corner for me.
Right around the corner. Okay. So if you have that right around the corner or picking up and you're thinking, I get that. I know Mr. Wayne actually does that he's in that profession. And so if you are a person who needs, your health insurance, or any kind of insurance like that, he's the guy to call, really. I've seen him do excellent business. I know him in that way for sure.
hmm Kyle, you know what? I want to go back up to insurance market issues.
Mhm.
And in the state of Florida, I think during last year with that last hurricane, there was a number of new insurance companies that came in. So, do you think that whenever uh, after those hurricanes and the new insurance companies that all came to Florida, I think it was a number of them, people knowing how to navigate the system, calling, getting new quotes, and all of those things. Do people really do that? Because I didn't do it. I don't know much about real estate, and like a car insurance, you'll make several calls to see which quote is better. What are you getting best for your money? But do people actually shop around? You think for insurance on their home?
They should, or if they aren't. So, with my customers, I recommend an insurance broker. The gentleman that I work with my customers, he does what I do with real estate. Um, so when you call him, what I like
Mhm.
about his service is he's going to quote you State Farm, Geico, Allstate, Progressive. He's got relationships with all of these and some others that you may not know of, and he's going to offer you, this is what this one is offering. This is what this one is offering. This is the price. This is the price. And you get to decide what's the right fit for you. I think personally, that's the best choice, right? Now, for two reasons. One, I have an expert who knows what's being offered, right? I need somebody to kind of guide me through because I don't know all your fancy talk. I don't know all your legal jargon. Am I covered and not covered? And what's this and what's that? I need a guy that can read this out for me. He is that. And then in addition to that, um, uh, you want to make sure that you have options, right? Because a lot of times I tell people when you're talking about, and that's correct, Mr. Wayne, that is a property and casualty agent, right? And the interesting thing, uh, I think, is a lot of folks will jump on who they see on TV, right? Oh, they see the little lizard all the time, so they go with Geico, or they hear the lady in the white outfit, so they go with Progressive, right? Well, those commercials need to be paid for, ladies and gentlemen. Those are paid programming, and that is where your dollars go. And sometimes I believe why your rates go up. I just am looking for the best possible coverage, right? Not the fancy name. I don't need to say, oh, it means that I'm better if I'm with Allstate, I just think, are you going to have somebody who's going to, one, be here in Florida? Because I'm looking for a track record, right? Not these folks that, some folks pick up and leave Florida, right? They've been here for a hot second and then they go on the next day. So I need to know you're going to be there for a while, or you've been here for a while. Two, I want to make sure that you're looking at things that aren't going to negate my claims if I need to make one. And I'm hoping that you aren't a company that is quick to drop people based on a claim, right? If I have a claim, I'm a real customer. I've been paying my real policy every single month. When it's my turn to be repaid, I expect that you will follow through. So I try to go towards companies that have a track record of they pay what they promise, right?
Mm-hmm.
They pay as they promise. So I do think that if you do a little bit of research, all are not created equal. They're not all equal. They're not all playing the same fair game. They're not all doing right. And some are doing better than others. So choose wisely.
Mm-hmm. Right. Choose wisely. Yeah, I don't know why I've never shopped around. I just have never shopped around. Shame on me. I think the next go round, I definitely need to get with a what was that, property and casualty insurance?
Yep. He's a property and casualty agent. Mine's is a broker. I'll text you his number off screen. The reason I didn't say his name, not because I don't give him props. I love this guy. He does a great job for me and all of my customers. But he's one of, what I'm learning, Candy, is that some things I gotta hold close to my chest. I gotta keep it like, no, this is my
Yes,
little thing. This is my little person,
yes,
and give them out to
yes,
my actual paying customers because I give away
yes.
so much free, right?
Mm-hmm.
I give so much free, and people would start to feel like, okay, well, Mr. Free, everything's free, and everything is not free. Some things I do need their business for.
Everything is not free. I totally agree. And hey, my history. I get calls and people think everything's still free. I can do it free.
Everything.
Oh,
I can't keep doing everything free. I give a lot away for free.
yeah.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah, this is always excellent information. We had a number of people come in to listen into the show this morning. Always good. Definitely the insurance in the state of Florida. We do know that people are still moving to the Tampa Bay area. Let me ask you, Cal, when the snowbirds go back, because you're a realtor and you know this, when the snowbirds go back north, those places that they're living, the housing, the condos, are people actually coming during the summer months, renting those? Are those Airbnbs? Are people really still renting Airbnbs? Because we were going to get an Airbnb, and look like the prices now, even on the Airbnbs, are starting to go up.
Yes. So let me tell you. So Airbnb is doing great. Okay. They are doing really, really well. People who own them are doing well. And in reference to your question about the snowbirds, some of the really savvy ones. Now, remember, most in terms of snowbird, usually these are our seniors, right? Oftentimes, folks who have the means to have a property here in Florida, as well as maybe a home in Massachusetts or New York or some, a place elsewhere that is nice, but not as warm as Florida in the summer. So they'll and leave, at some point during the year for themselves. I think it's an interesting thing because I'd be curious to see how many people still have the ability to maintain dual residency in two different states. How many people have compared to, still able to maintain two homes like that? The cost of two homes in two different states, right? That's one. So I'd be curious as to if that has changed. And then the ones who do leave, some feel like, oh, I'm great. I'm gonna rent it out for 6 months and Airbnb it. It'll be fine. And then some people are like, no, I don't want anyone in my house over that period of time. And so you will find that a lot of homes in Florida at any given point in the year are vacant. There are a lot of vacant properties in Florida and what we call absentee homeowners. They live someplace else. They just keep the property, right? And maybe they come down for vacations or they come down for, they keep it in case somebody needs a place to stay. So, so that's also something to consider. And then the last piece, I think, is with regards to not just the snowbirds, but, the Airbnbs. So I would like to see Florida make it easier for Floridians to earn money, especially since so many folks are screaming that we're experiencing economic times, right? And having challenges economically. Here in like places Orlando and Kissimmee, they have a wonderful system there for Airbnbs. You can kind of get them everywhere. They're just easy. They're easy to grab, easy to hold on to. They make it welcoming for people who are doing Airbnbs. Okay, here in Hillsborough and Pinellas County, however, not as much, not even close. Now there are some here, right? But most times, if you live, going back to our earlier conversation, if you live in a community that has an HOA, 99.9% of the time in the HOA rules, it will say you were not allowed to sublease the house for short-term rentals like Airbnbs. Can't do it. And if they catch you doing it, now some people go ahead and just do it quietly anyway, but if they catch you doing it, you open yourself up to a lawsuit and a problem with the community, right? So why do that? In Pinellas County, it's just against the law, period. Like you have to go and get a hotel. Yes, you have to get a hotel license, like a hotel operator's license, in order to do Airbnb out of your property. And so it deters a lot of people, you know. And so I tell people, you know, it's very concerning in an age where lots of people are screaming, "Hey, I need to make more money," and they may be situated in a place. They may live in a beautiful place two blocks from the beach. Can't Airbnb it. You're right there in Pinellas County. Or you're here in, you know, Hillsborough County. Somebody wants to. They love going to the USF Bulls games. Got all of these places that you would otherwise own an Airbnb sitting vacant, you know, and so because of different rules. Now, if you do not live in an HOA community, if you're in a home where you don't have HOA rules and you can kind of do your thing, I would encourage you, if you have a nicely appointed home, if you have some amenities, some things that are fun to do nearby you and fun to do within the home. I went to one right off of, not, it was like between Brandon and Sefner. The house was fantastic. We stayed there. It had a bunch of bedrooms and nice things on. They had redone the inside. The backyard was fun. They had a pool and basketball courts and stuff for the kids, and it was wonderful. So, if you can do it, I encourage you to do it. Airbnb money can be great, and if you become a really good host and you start getting, you know, good reviews, you can do really well. I personally, one of the areas in my own life where I kicked myself a little bit was about, I would say maybe almost 10 years ago now. I was offered an opportunity to purchase a property in closer to Orlando in a place called Champions Gate. And they would manage the Airbnb for you. Yeah, you can convert this property into an Airbnb. They would manage it for you. And, you know, I would have made so much money out there if I knew then what I know now, you know. And so I do think that now there are pros and cons to everything. Do your research. Being an Airbnb host is not for everybody, right? Some folks aren't good with other people. Some folks aren't good with having strangers in their house. Some folks, you know, don't do a good job vetting. I watched a video of some folks renting an Airbnb who were dancing on their kitchen table and on their granite countertops, right? And I don't want anyone dancing on my granite countertops, right? Like these things cost a lot of money. And so there are problems with it, but I would say it's much more of a pro. And for those snowbirds that are still doing, you know, the kind of here for a while, not here, it would be a great way for them to make some extra income if throughout all of the counties we did a better job of kind of loosening some of these restrictions or making some of these rules a little more citizen friendly. Let's call it that. Let's call them citizen friendly.
Right. Let me ask you. This is kind of off our topic somewhat. Are people still doing timeshares?
That's a good. I don't know how those places stay in existence.
I don't hear much about timeshares anymore. When I was younger, that was the thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah, big thing. And I remember when I was younger, we would go to South Carolina and we would rent a beach house. So renting these beach houses has always been popular. It just moved over in my mind to people renting out their homes throughout neighborhoods, throughout communities. But renting beach houses and timeshares was the thing.
So that was everything. You would go to Disney. There was going to be somebody offering you tickets. Come see this timeshare first. Come sit in this presentation, and you're gonna. I'm quite sure that it still exists, but the jig is up. Everybody knows, like, it wasn't what you promised us. There's been enough lawsuits, enough people who have said, "Get me out of this thing." They let me in. Now, don't get me wrong. That's not for everybody, because I still have friends who have timeshares. I still have friends who not only have timeshares where they travel internationally and nationally, but Some of them have passed them on to their children. We used to go to one called Orange Lakes right there in, I think it's Orlando or Kissimmee, and it was fantastic, wonderful times, right? But I don't think that that is the investment vehicle people thought it was going to be. Maybe for some people got rich. Some people, if you got in early and you did the right things, and maybe you did very, very well. And I know some realtors who told me that back in the day they did very well with the timeshare, high pressure sales, but they did make some money. Nowadays, I don't know a single agent. I don't know anyone who is actively doing timeshares personally. But who knows? It may still be. I can't really speak to it for sure, though.
Yes. I just have been noticing all of the people still, just Airbnb. But then I also think sometimes timeshare, because
That timeshare.
I never went anywhere without them wanting me to do a sit-in, a little class for what was it, like an hour? I think they'll give you
90 minutes. They give you a 90-minute time. You're going to sit for a 90-minute presentation. They're going to tell you all of these wonderful things about the timeshare, and they're going to convince you to try to sign off on this document. If you do, they make it hype. Oh, we're bringing out champagne. You've done it. It's a celebration. 9.5 times out of 10, the people ain't there for all of that. They here to get them tickets to Disney. Give me my tickets and let me go. I'm supposed to get tickets to Disney. I'm supposed to get tickets to a dinner or something. Give me something.
Hey,
yes.
DJ and I are guilty of that. We were able to.
I'm guilty of that. I was.
Yes. We went to New Orleans and we were able to go. We did the presentation together. The lady sat there. She hyped it up. She sat there and she complimented me. She complimented him. She brought us cold drinks and they had a few snacks right there on the table. And then one of the guys came over, one of her coworkers, he came over and he started complimenting. So they all, know the system to really gang up on you with lots of love.
That's right. You feel like these are good people. They really like me. They said so many nice things. They treat me so nice. Oh, yeah. Butter you right up.
Let me tell you, Kyle, when we were almost done with the presentation, she kept saying, so do you think this is something that you all are ready to do? I said, no, I don't think this is something that we're ready to do right now because we have other obligations. We only wanted to see what was available, pretty much how it works. So when in the future we want to move forward, we can. So in spite of me saying that, she didn't hear that. She wasn't supposed to hear that. She wanted to hear
no.
on the dotted line. On the dotted line. She went and got her associate,
manager, her supervisor. That's right. That's a requirement. You ain't walking away without them coming to high pressure you too.
But let me tell you, we sit there, Kyle. We sit there I'm like, well, what are they doing? Why is they taking so long to come back and talk to us? Because she said she was going to get him. And they finally came back. Of course, he comes and he compliments as well. And you all, you like New Orleans. Yeah, we love New Orleans. I've been to New Orleans many times. We love New Orleans. Well, this is such a good deal. You don't want to lose out on this deal. All of the things that you'll have. The hotel rooms are just massive. You have a kitchen. You have this. Oh, he just laid it out. I stayed calm. And I told my husband, right. I said, good cop, I want you to stay calm. I need you to stay with me. I got this. Because we're going out 250. So we can go out of here.
Right.
And let me say, you know what? They kept us longer because I said to the lady, we have gone over the time, ma'am. We have our itinerary scheduled. She didn't want to hear that. She wanted us to fly in. I had never seen, I mean, it was more aggressive than the car dealer.
I was going to say the only other people that do it that way are car dealerships. Car dealerships have the same tactic. It's crazy. The
I
same
mean,
muscle tactic. I'm
was
telling you.
she was she was beating us down. It was like a beat down. And I'm
You
like,
know how many
listen,
people have signed
I'm
those
ready.
documents just because you know some people, they genuinely cannot get, if you've been nice to them and you've been kind and you've given them something to eat and something to drink, they can't bring themselves to say no. They would rather they'll just sign it and say, I'll just get out of it later. I'll do
Yeah.
something. You know, like they can't say no. I'm telling you, it's terrible. And side note, just a random Jeopardy tidbit. Do you know for the like many years, I don't know if it's still the case today, but for many years, the homeowner with the largest estate in all of Florida, made his money doing timeshares.
Uh,
Is that insane? Like he was one of the wealthiest men in Florida. How'd you get your money? Timeshares. And Brother
wow.
Wayne said he just used his in New Orleans too. That's funny that you were telling your story about New Orleans. Yes,
Yes,
that's awesome.
yes, yes, yes. I think
Someday
we
I'm gonna get
paid.
someone to host me in New Orleans. I've never been there yet, so I'll have to get down there to see New Orleans.
Oh yeah, yeah. New Orleans
New
is
Orleans, New Orleans.
New
Okay,
Orleans. Yeah, yeah. Most times when people go to New Orleans, they normally don't tell you what they did in New Orleans.
is that right? This is like Vegas. What happens in New Orleans stays in New Orleans? Okay, then
Yeah,
I'm definitely gonna have to go
yeah.
go see what's going on here.
It's a lot
Oh.
of happening in New Orleans. Nothing like New Orleans. It's amazing. I've gone for Mardi Gras several times with my first girl cousins. We would all meet up and go to Mardi Gras, and it's nothing like parades throughout the day. Every day
Wow.
parades. They have a whole schedule every single day, all the way up until Fat Tuesday, which I've been able to participate 2 different times in Fat
Yeah,
Tuesdays, and
I gotta
nothing
go
like that.
enjoy this. I want to go
Yeah,
see
yeah.
about
Hey,
the first
yeah.
line. I think it's called again too. I saw on a movie where they have a funeral procession and the people are playing. I have to check that out as well. You know.
Yes, yes. It's all in love. It's all in love. It's an
Yeah,
amazing
it looks like it.
celebration. Yeah, of people crossing over. It's just amazing. And the hospitality. I don't know any city that I've ever gone in like the hospitality in New Orleans.
Nice. I love that.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So,
It's
um,
amazing.
so real quick, I know we're about to wrap up. Okay. And I wanted to make sure that I mentioned really two things that I think are important. First, of course, as always, thank you for having me on every week. I'm super grateful for the platform, for being with Tea and Conversation. I know your 20th anniversary celebration is coming up, so that's one of the things that I definitely wanted to mention. Make sure that you are there. My face will be in the place, so I hope yours is too. If you're watching this, make sure you come out and come talk with us live and in person. Two,
Yes,
I wanted to thank Brother Wayne for jumping on today and
yes,
remind folks that he did say that, Medicare is if you're thinking about Medicare, if you need Medicare, if you know someone that needs Medicare, definitely please do jump on. If you are thinking about buying or selling real estate, my information is on the screen, KyleSellsTampaBay.com or SavannPremier.com. Jump on. It leads to the same place, same platform. You'll be able to talk to me about buying, selling, investing in real estate. And last but not least, I know you are currently watching on either Facebook or YouTube, but Candy and I are actively on TikTok. So if you look, I'm just learning, but Candy is on. She done taught me the ropes. I'm coming on this TikTok. If you are on TikTok, if you're a TikTok influencer, if you're a TikTok creator, if you're about this TikTok, Kyle Sells Dream Homes is where I'm at. Kyle Sells Dream Homes is my handle. Kyle,
Yes,
Kyle, sells Dream Homes, all one word.
yes,
Please do follow me on TikTok. Please do rock with Candy on TikTok. What's your handle on TikTok, Candy?
yes. I am absolutely loving the space, and I love when you come in, moving around the TikTok streets is what they call it,
Oh,
making
we
sure that you're
moving in
doing
these TikTok streets?
all. Yes.
Okay.
You know, Cal, for a minute there, I thought I was, a little out of the age range of being on TikTok, honestly. And I'm thinking, okay, I keep hearing it. I'm hearing it. Let me jump on in here. Let me find my way.
Yeah.
One of the things that I really, really have enjoyed is the young people have really embraced me. They have
Awesome.
invited me in. They
Nice.
all call me auntie or ma or granny. So I say
Okay.
y'all.
All of that's fine. You've earned all of those. Those are good titles. Those are good
Yes,
titles. And I had
yes.
asked
So
you, what's your handle again on TikTok? What's your name on there?
it's actually Candy Low, which is my name. It's Candy Low.
Okay.
I had to take the E off of low because when people were saying it, they were saying
Mm-hmm.
Candy Love because the letters are
Oh, because the
small whenever the
letters.
whole is looking
Yes.
at it. So I just dropped the E so they can actually see the low.
So
But
Candy
it's
Low.
actually
I
my
got you.
yeah, which is Candy Low. Those that are following me on there, and I have really been growing. I'm actually over 5,000
Woo!
in
You up. Okay.
I think like 2+ close to 3 months maybe. I don't know if that's good or bad in reference to the growth, but every time I'm
Well,
on live doing something, I
yes.
normally leave really good quality people. That is one of the
Wonderful.
things that I'm really finding out is that you want to have good quality people that are engaging with you, people that are following you, people that are sharing your information and really coming together. It's an amazing camaraderie. I think that you have a lot to offer on TikTok. You're so
Thank
knowledgeable
you.
in so many things, a realtor, a
Thank you.
DJ, of course, a father, um, dating, health wise, in reference to men's health. As a matter of fact, Jarvis will be on with me next. Jarvis has been with me a long, long time throughout the years. We'll be celebrating together a Tea and Conversation, which is our 20th year, a 20th year celebration that we want everyone to come
Oh,
out and celebrate with us. Most people don't do 20 minutes of anything if it does not go the way that they want it to go. They're gone. They don't do
right.
20 days of anything because if it does not work out the way that they want, they're gone. They don't do 20 months of anything if they don't see the results there. They're done. But we are 20 years in the city of Tampa of tea and conversation where we have been bringing so much, brother. Where we have been bringing candidates together, elected officials that come back on a regular basis to let us know what's going on in our city, whatever the concerns are, what we need to get behind, what we do not need to get behind. It has been such a safe place. Also, it has been a place for educating. We have had so many educators come through, principals come through, our judge buddies, our lawyers that come through at Tea and Conversation. I want to give a big shout out to Representative Rayner. She reached out
Oh,
to me on yesterday or day before, I can't remember. She reached out to me. She is going to be traveling and having some fun, taking a little break, but she will be sending in a accommodation, if I'm not mistaken, or her aide or someone will be there representing. So we have a number of people that will be there representing their positions are in city council, county commission, state representatives, in our city. Also, school board. I can't tell you how many school board members have been to Tea and Conversation and really let us know what's going on with our school board. City council, just about every one of them have been to Tea and Conversation to let us know what's going on with our city. And at Tea and Conversation, Cal, where we will be celebrating 20 years on June 28th, 10 a.m. to noon, always down at Al's Finger Licking Good Soul Food. And that's 2302 East 7th Avenue. We have been at that location now for, I want to say 7 years. 7 years at that location. Amazing spot right there. We're going to have a number of people on the guest list that will be speaking that was with us that first 5 years, that first 10 years, and that stretched out. So you definitely on that list for that first 5 years when it was Dr. Carl Wolf. It was Jetty B. Wiles.
The late great Jetty B. Wiles. Yes. Oh man.
Yes, Jetty B. Wiles, James Ransom used to sit in with us from time to time. Reverend Dixon that sat in, Reverend Dixon.
Wow, yes, wow.
Reverend Dixon, if I'm not mistaken, will be 96, if I'm not mistaken.
Wow, time flies. Wow.
Years old. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's wonderful. That's wonderful. Yeah. So, that speaks to community, legacy, the time invested. I love that I'm glad that you put this on this video and on the record, because people need to know, like you said, this has not just been a day or two or something you just cooked up a week ago, right? 20 years, awesome relationships, impact with real power people in local government, right? City council, elected. We can talk all that's going on around the nation and the feds, but if you don't have what's going on in your own city going, in your radar, you're missing the boat. Local politics matter a lot. That's what's happening with your children at the school board. That's what's happening. So this is wonderful. So I hope it encourages everyone that saw all of the information going across the bottom of the screen. You got to be there. Especially if you're actively trying to make an impact in the community, and you would like to be someone that is a torchbearer going forward, right? You doing your part now and going forward. You might want to come connect with the elders and with the folks that have been doing this for a long time. So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok. And don't forget to follow us on TikTok. It's going to be good.
Yes. I also want to say before we close this morning, how we want to see definitely condolences to our late city councilwoman, Gwen Henderson, that went on with the Lord. It was very massive yesterday, phone calls, and I got a call early yesterday morning to let me know that city councilwoman Gwen Henderson had passed away. And
my condolences to you and all of her friends and family and her constituents.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Making sure that we keep her family in prayer. She had the bookstore as well, that we took the Black Business Bus Tour there last year. Amazing bookstore. I think she was an amazing lady. Every single time that I spoke with her a number of times before she ran for office. And then when she decided to run, she called to let me know that as well. So we definitely want to keep her family in prayer. There will be a special election for that seat. So we'll be listen out for that special election. That's what we up, unless Kyle Jackson has something else that he would like to say to us this morning.
I just want to say thank you. God bless you and have an amazing day.
Thank you, and God bless you as well. Thank you so much for joining in Tea and Conversation Live. this morning with our weekly contributor, Cal Jacksons. Thank you so much for joining. See you soon.